Dr. Elena Reyes excused herself from the reception, slipping away from the throngs of diplomats and reporters clustered around the alien visitors. The weight of what humanity was hiding pressed on her shoulders as she made her way to the secure elevator hidden behind an unassuming maintenance door. "Identification, please," requested the AI system as Elena placed her palm on the scanner. Dr. Elena Reyes, Project Nomad Authorization, Sierra 9 Delta. The elevator descended rapidly, bypassing the public levels of the United Nations complex and continuing far below the city streets. Elena checked her communications device, scrolling through updates from her team at Jupiter's moon facility. Progress on gravitational stabilization, 94% complete. Sears mantle integration. Core systems nominal. Resource extraction from Saturn's rings. Ahead of schedule. She smiled faintly. While Ambassador Gazanthar and his delegation boasted about their impressive city-sized vessels, humanity had already surpassed them in ways the aliens couldn't imagine. The elevator doors opened into a massive underground command center, where hundreds of engineers and scientists monitored wall-sized displays showing real-time data from throughout the solar system. At the center stood General Maria Santos, her expression serious as she oversaw the operation. "They bought it," Elena announced as she approached. "The Confederacy completely believes we're just clever primates who recently discovered space travel." "And the bait?" asked the general. "I had our representative mention early-stage megastructure engineering just as we planned. They dismissed it exactly as predicted, condescending smiles all around." The main display shifted to show a live feed from Ceres, where thousands of automated construction units swarmed across the dwarf planet's surface like metallic ants, installing the final components of the gravitational drive system. The sight still took Elena's breath away, even after 5 years leading the project. Director Reyes called out Dr. Paddle from his station. "We've detected unusual scanning patterns from the Confederacy vessel. They appear to be conducting deep survey scans of Earth's core and the moon." Elena frowned. "Are they getting anything useful?" "Negative. The deflection systems are functioning perfectly. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see." The room fell quiet as the main screen switched to a view of the alien delegation ship. Its sleek blue hull stretched only about 3 kilometers in length, enormous by human standards just a decade ago, but almost laughably small compared to what Project Nomad had already achieved. "They think so small," Elena whispered. "Their entire civilization built that ship over centuries, and they're proud of it." General Santos nodded. "That's our advantage. They think in terms of incremental advancement, while we leap," Elena finished. "Have the calculations been verified for the Ceres test?" "Triple-checked. Once we ignite the drive system, Ceres will move exactly as the simulations predict. The gravitational effects will be undetectable beyond our sensor network." Elena's communication device chimed with a priority message. She read it quickly, her eyes widening. "The Confederacy has invited a human delegation to visit their central hub. They want us there within 2 weeks." "Perfect timing," the general replied with a slight smile. "That's exactly when the Ceres drive system will be ready for its first test run." Elena looked up at the massive display showing the dwarf planet, already transformed from a lifeless rock into humanity's first planetary vessel. Soon, they would show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of, but not quite yet. Let the aliens underestimate them a little longer. "Begin final preparations," she ordered. "It's time to show ourselves exactly what we can do." Elena stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel as it approached the Confederacy's central hub. Despite herself, she felt a flutter of anticipation. No human had ever ventured this far from Earth before, at least not officially. "Impressive, isn't it?" Ambassador Chen asked, joining her at the window. The central hub hung in space like a glittering metal flower, its petals extending outward from a central core. Vessels of various designs docked along its edges, representing the 17 species of the Galactic Confederacy. "It's beautiful," Elena admitted, "but smaller than I expected." Chen gave her a warning glance. They had agreed to maintain the facade of being awestruck by alien technology. Dr. Rice speaks her mind. He told their alien escort, a slender being named Krill whose translucent skin revealed pulsing internal organs. Our engineers are always analyzing structures. Of course, Krill replied with what Elena recognized as forced patience. The hub has been continuously expanded for over 4,000 cycles. Your species might build something comparable in, perhaps another millennium. Elena bit her tongue as they docked. Her secure communicator vibrated silently against her wrist. Another update from Project Nomad that would have to wait. The alien delegation led them through corridors filled with species of all descriptions. Elena noted the technical details, atmospheric systems, gravity adjustments, structural supports, all remarkable engineering, but nothing beyond what Earth had already mastered in secret. This way to the scientific exchange, Krill directed, leading them into a chamber where various alien technologies were displayed. We thought you might appreciate seeing the advancements that await your species as you develop. Elena moved from exhibit to exhibit, maintaining an expression of wonder while mentally cataloging each technology. Most were variations of systems Earth had already developed or surpassed in the classified megastructure program. This is our newest achievement, announced a bulky, six-armed engineer from a species Elena recognized as the Dorsani, a propulsion system capable of moving a vessel 100 kilometers in diameter. Incredible, Elena murmured, studying the schematics displayed above the device. It was, admittedly, an elegant design, but capable of moving only a fraction of Ceres' mass and at far slower speeds than Project Nomad had already achieved. Perhaps in several centuries, humans might contribute to such engineering projects, the Dorsani said with what passed for a smile on his ridge-like face. During the formal dinner that evening, Elena found herself seated beside a crystalline being who introduced himself as the Confederacy's leading expert on celestial mechanics. I understand humans have ambitious ideas about planetary engineering, the crystalline being said, facets glinting under the light. Your representative mentioned megastructure concepts during first contact. Elena took a sip of the alien beverage, a surprisingly palatable blue liquid. We have theoretical frameworks, yes. Some of our scientists believe dwarf planets could someday be converted to serve as vessels or habitats. The table erupted in what Elena's translator identified as laughter. Forgive us, the Dorsani engineer said, vibrating with amusement. But moving planetary bodies requires energy manipulation on scales that even the oldest Confederacy species hasn't mastered. The gravitational considerations alone would take computational power beyond anything your species possesses. Elena smiled politely, her communicator vibrating again with increasing urgency. She excused herself and stepped into a quiet alcove, activating the secure channel. Rai is here, she whispered. Director, this is Control. Sarah's test was successful. Complete mobility achieved with 93% power efficiency, all systems nominal. Elena's heart raced as she absorbed the news. Outside the window, she could see distant stars, and somewhere among them, a dwarf planet that had just changed the rules of the game. Send the visual confirmation to my secure channel, she ordered, and tell the team, well done. They're already scrambling their vessels, General Santos reported, eyes fixed on the tactical display. 3 Confederate scout ships have changed course toward the asteroid belt. The emergency session of the UN Security Council had stretched into its 14th hour. World leaders looked exhausted but resolute as they processed the implications of what they'd just authorized. How long until they reach Ceres? President Okafor asked. Approximately 18 hours at their current velocity, Santos replied. But their long-range sensors will detect unusual energy signatures within 6. Elena paced the circumference of the holographic display, watching as red dots representing alien vessels converged on the solar system. The secret was unraveling faster than anticipated. We could attempt to mask the energy signature, suggested the Chinese delegate. Buy more time. Elena shook her head. The masking technology would only raise more questions. Once they're suspicious, hiding becomes counterproductive. Then we proceed as voted, declared President Okafor. Operation Revelation begins now. The room fell silent as Elena activated her command authorization. This is Director Rice to all Nomad facilities. Execute Protocol Revelation. Authentication Code Sierra. Echo Victor Echo November. Across the solar system, hidden facilities sprang into coordinated action. Stealth fields around Ceres disengage. Power systems that had been running at minimal capacity surged to full operational status. The dwarf planet, secretly transformed over 7 years into humanity's first planetary vessel, awakened fully. Delegate Xanfar's vessel has cleared Mars orbit, reported the communications officer. They're requesting permission to approach what they're calling the anomaly. Right on schedule, Elena murmured. Grant permission and prepare the observation platform. 6 hours later, Elena stood on the observation deck of humanity's hastily prepared platform. In reality, a facility that had existed for years, disguised as a routine asteroid mining operation. Beside her, Ambassador Xanthar and 5 other alien representatives maintained a diplomatic facade of calm, though their physiological signs betrayed their anxiety. We detected unusual energy readings in this sector, Xanthar stated smoothly. The Confederacy merely wishes to ensure no dangerous experiments are being conducted. Elena met his 4-pupilled gaze steadily. No dangerous experiments, Ambassador. Just the fruition of a long-term engineering project, one we're now ready to share with our galactic neighbors. She nodded to the human technician at the control panel. On the main viewport, targeting systems highlighted Ceres, still appearing as an ordinary dwarf planet against the blackness of space. What you're about to see, Elena continued, represents several decades of theoretical work and 7 years of practical application. Xanfar's upper appendages twitched with what Elena had learned to recognize as dismissive amusement. Dr. Rice, while we appreciate human enthusiasm, perhaps you overestimate. Nomad Actual, this is Control, Elena interrupted, speaking clearly into her communicator. Execute demonstration sequence. The viewport magnified as thousands of points across Ceres' surface simultaneously illuminated. The light pattern spread like a web of blue fire, outlining massive engineering structures previously hidden beneath the dwarf planet's regolith. The aliens stiffened collectively as the first tremors of movement registered on their instruments. Ceres, a planetary body nearly 600 miles in diameter, began to move against the natural laws of orbital mechanics, executing a precise spiral pattern that no natural object could achieve. Impossible, whispered the Phelan scientist, their bioluminescent skin flashing rapid patterns of distress. The gravitational equations, the energy requirements. As I said, Elena replied calmly, several decades of theoretical work. Xanfar's blue skin had paled dramatically, his 4 eyes fixed unblinkingly on the display. Your kind has existed for a mere moment in cosmic time, he said, voice barely audible. Elena allowed herself a small smile. We work quickly when motivated, Ambassador. Elena stared at the holographic display dominating the crisis center, watching as 17 different alien fleet signatures converged on the solar system. The room hummed with tense activity as analysts processed the flood of incoming transmissions. Another 13 ships just dropped out of FTL near Neptune, reported Commander Jackson. Configuration matches nothing in the Confederate database. Uncategorized species number 23. Elena noted, marking them on her tablet. Are they responding to hails? Negative, but they're not advancing either. Just watching. The revelation of Ceres had sent shockwaves through the galactic community far beyond anything they had anticipated. Species that had never formally contacted the Confederacy were suddenly appearing in Earth's vicinity, drawn by news of the planet ship. General Santos approached with a grim expression. The Dorveni delegation is demanding inspection access to Pluto. They're claiming security concerns given its proximity to their trade routes. Convenient timing, Elena replied. considering Pluto wasn't on any of their charts until we provided stellar maps. Should we delay them? Elena considered the implications. No, let them come, but accelerate the timeline on Project Persephone. If they're going to discover it anyway, I want it on our terms. Across the room, the diplomatic team was processing communiques from 7 Confederate species that had secretly requested private meetings, away from the official channels. Most concerning were the messages from the militaristic Krell Dominion, whose vessels had taken up positions near Mars. Director Reyes, call the communications specialist. We've detected unusual activity beneath Europa's ice layer. Thermal readings indicate at least 3 submarine vessels of unknown configuration. Elena frowned. Europa. There's nothing there except the old research station. That's just it, ma'am. The station is showing significantly increased power usage, but none of our personnel have reported in for the past 12 hours. A cold feeling settled in Elena's stomach. She keyed her secure channel. This is Director Reyes. I need a strike team prepared for Europa insertion within the hour. Possible security breach at Outpost 7. As she turned back to the main display, an alert flashed from the Outer System Monitoring Network. The feed from the Eris project, their most advanced and secretive planet ship, had gone dark. Status report on Make and Pluto conversion projects, she demanded. Make at 78% completion. All systems nominal. Pluto. The technician paused, checking readings. Pluto showing unauthorized access attempts in the primary core systems. Someone's trying to hack in from orbit. Confederacy ships. Negative. The signal characteristics don't match any known Confederate technology. The implications sent a chill through the room. Someone outside the 17 known species, was trying to access Earth's planetary vessel technology. Elena's secure communicator chimed with an encrypted message. The sender identification made her eyes widen. Asterisk from Europa Research Station asterisk. Asterisk priority. Absolute asterisk. Asterisk Director Reyes. We have made contact with representatives from 7 Confederate species operating outside their government's authority. They bring urgent warning. The planet ships have attracted attention from beyond the galactic rim. Something ancient has awakened. Recommend immediate activation of all defensive systems. They know what we've built, and they're coming for it asterisk. Elena looked up at the display, where dozens of unknown vessels now lingered at the edges of the solar system, their intentions unclear. The chess game had become infinitely more complex, with players they hadn't known existed. Get me a secure channel to the Security Council, she ordered, and send a coded activation signal to all Nomad facilities. Authorization. DEFCON 1. Stunned silence filled the emergency Confederacy Council chamber. The holographic model of the gamma-ray burst hung in the air like a specter of death, its projected path illuminating thousands of inhabited worlds in ominous red. Your calculations are certain? Asked the Phelan counselor, her luminescent tendrils dimmed with shock. We verified them independently, confirmed the gelatinous alien astronomer, extending pseudopods toward the display. The human data is correct. The radiation wave will sterilize 57 inhabited systems within this galactic sector. Elena stood firm at the center of the chamber, aware that this moment would reshape galactic history. We detected the precursor neutron star collapse 5 years ago. Our initial models gave us centuries, but refined calculations indicated less than a century before impact. And this is why you built the planet ships, stated Danfar, his voice uncharacteristically humble. Not as weapons or demonstrations of power. They're Orcs, Elena confirmed, designed to carry entire biospheres beyond the radiation zone. We prioritize Ceres as our proof of concept, but the Pluto, Eris, and Make conversions are already well underway. The reptilian counselor, Skvar, rose to his impressive height. You built these vessels for all life, not just your own. That was always the plan. Elena nodded. Each planet ship can sustain ecosystems from multiple worlds. We've designed them with modular environmental systems, specifically to accommodate diverse biological needs. Yet you kept this threat secret, accused a crystalline being from the outer rim of the chamber. You've allowed our worlds to remain ignorant of approaching extinction. General Santos stepped forward. We transmitted warnings to every system. We could reach as soon as our calculations were confirmed. Most responses dismissed our signals as pranks from an unproven species. Others never replied at all. The council chamber erupted into overlapping arguments and accusations. Elena watched as the reality of the situation fractured political alliances formed over millennia. Several representatives huddled around data terminals, frantically verifying humanity's claims. Director Reyes called out a voice Elena recognized. It belonged to Krill, the slender alien who had escorted her through the hub with such condescension weeks earlier. I've consulted our archives. 3 standard years ago, we did receive unusual transmissions from Earth containing astronomical data. They were classified as primitive observational errors and archived without review. The admission hung heavy in the air. Outside the council chambers, the news had begun to spread. Through the crystal windows, Elena could see the vast promenade of the relocated hub now on Earth, filling with aliens and humans alike, their faces illuminated by emergency broadcasts. Fear transcended species boundaries as the truth became undeniable. The time for recrimination is past, Elena declared. We have approximately 92 Earth years before the gamma-ray burst reaches the core systems. With combined resources and knowledge, we can expand our planetship program to save representatives of all sentient species. And what would you ask in exchange for this sanctuary? Demanded a suspicious counselor from the militaristic Krell Dominion. Elena's expression hardened. This isn't a negotiation. It's extinction-level mathematics. Either we combine our knowledge and resources, or trillions of sentient beings will die unnecessarily. Xanthar stepped forward, his towering blue form commanding attention. I move that the Confederacy formally acknowledge the gamma-ray burst threat and enter into immediate alliance with Earth for mutual survival. One by one, the counselors indicated their assent, ancient political rivalries temporarily set aside in the face of cosmic annihilation. As the session adjourned, a human aide approached Elena with an urgent message. Director, we've lost contact with the Eris project again, and long-range sensors have detected something massive approaching from beyond the heliopause. Elena gazed out at the gathering of species in the promenade below. They had just begun to unite against one crisis, unaware that another might already be upon them. The manufacturing facility on Titan's northern hemisphere sprawled across the frozen landscape, its massive assembly chambers illuminated against Saturn's looming presence. Inside the central engineering hub, Elena watched as human and alien engineers worked side by side, creating technologies neither species could have developed alone. The integration is complete, announced Kolvac, the insectoid physicist who had become one of Elena's most trusted alien collaborators. His multifaceted eyes reflected the holographic simulation of the new drive system. Human gravitational manipulation paired with our quantum displacement technology reduces power requirements by 76% and increases effective range by a factor of 12, added Dr. Patel, beaming with pride. We could never have achieved this alone. Elena studied the simulation, marveling at how quickly former adversaries had become essential partners. In just 3 weeks, the combined knowledge of 32 species had accelerated humanity's planetship program beyond their most optimistic projections. How soon can we implement this on the Make vessel? She asked. Production begins tomorrow, Kolvac replied. The Dorveni metallurgists have already reconfigured their fabrication methods to accommodate the new specifications. On another terminal, a holographic communication showed the ongoing transformation of Sedna, the latest dwarf planet to undergo conversion. What had taken humans years to accomplish with Ceres was now progressing in months, as thousands of alien engineers applied their specialized knowledge alongside human innovation. Director Reyes called a Phelan technician, her bioluminescent tendrils flashing with excitement. The first test of the Sedna hybrid drive is ready for your authorization." Alina moved to the primary observation platform overlooking the command center. Representatives from 17 Confederacy species and 12 previously unknown civilizations stood alongside human officials, their attention fixed on the massive display showing Sedna in real time. "Proceed," Alina ordered. The engineering team initiated the startup sequence, and the newly installed quantum gravitational drive began to power up. Energy readings climbed steadily as the systems harmonized in ways theoretical physicists had only dreamed of weeks earlier. "Quantum field stabilizing at 97%, reported a human technician. "Gravitational matrix online. All parameters nominal. "Execute drive test at 10% capacity," ordered Kolvac, his mandibles clicking with tension. On the display, the surface of Sedna illuminated with a web of energy as the combined technology activated. For a breathless moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself appeared to bend around the dwarf planet. "Spatial distortion forming," exclaimed Dr. Puddle. "It's creating a stable wormhole aperture." The impossible unfolded before them, a self-sustaining wormhole large enough for a planetary body to traverse, generated with a fraction of the energy their previous calculations had required. Spontaneous cheers erupted across species boundaries as the test concluded successfully. Alina found herself embraced by Krill, whose earlier condescension had transformed into genuine respect. "Your people's approach to gravitational physics is nothing short of revolutionary," he admitted. "We've studied these principles for millennia, yet never considered manipulating them this way." "Sometimes fresh perspectives see paths that experience overlooks," Alina replied diplomatically. As the celebration continued, General Santos approached with a secure tablet. "The cultural exchange programs are showing remarkable progress," she reported, displaying statistics on cross-species collaboration. 17 musical fusion performances scheduled next week, and the telepathic consciousness-sharing sessions with the Meridian delegation have a waiting list of human volunteers. Alina smiled, scrolling through images of children from Earth learning alien languages, while young aliens experience human art forms. In the shadow of extinction, something beautiful was emerging, a true galactic community. Her secure communicator vibrated with an urgent alert. The message from the Deep Space Monitoring Station was brief but chilling. "Unidentified vessel approaching Eris project. Configuration matches nothing in combined databases. Estimated arrival, 36 hours. Even as humanity and its new allies celebrated their technological breakthrough, something unknown continued its silent approach from the darkness beyond. 3 years, Alina announced to the gathered representatives, her voice steady despite the devastating news. "The precursor waves indicate arrival in 36 months, not 9 decades as we calculated." A holographic chamber erupted into chaos as delegates from 87 species processed the implications. What had seemed a manageable timeline for evacuation had just collapsed into an impossible deadline. "Silence," commanded Xandvar, his voice cutting through the panic. "Director Reyes, explain this discrepancy." Alina gestured to the data streams projected around her. "The gamma burst is being accelerated by a previously undetected neutron star collision in its path. The resulting gravitational lens effect is focusing and propelling the radiation wave toward our sector at relativistic speeds. 3 years is insufficient," stated Kolvac bluntly, his insectoid features unreadable. "Even with our combined technologies, we cannot build enough planet ships to evacuate all worlds." The harsh reality settled over the assembly. Trillions of lives across dozens of systems now faced extinction, with no hope of complete evacuation. "We must prioritize," declared the Krell Dominion representative, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the lights. "Military assets and leadership first, then essential personnel." "Unacceptable," Alina countered. "We evacuate based on efficiency and maximum preservation of diversity, not status or military value." As the debate raged, Alina's secure channel chimed with an emergency alert. On split screens visible only to her, security feeds showed simultaneous crises unfolding across the solar system. 7 Confederacy warships had broken formation, their weapons targeting the smaller completed planet ships. The Proxima Centauri colony had gone silent, with final transmissions reporting unidentified vessels approaching. On Earth, coordinated explosions had destroyed key manufacturing facilities in Beijing and Nairobi. "We're under attack," she whispered to General Santos. "Multiple fronts." Before Santos could respond, the chamber's security systems flashed red. "Unauthorized vessels approaching Earth," announced the automated system. "Hostile intent detected." Elena made her decision instantly. "This is Director Reyes initiating emergency protocol exodus. Authentication code, Alpha Victor 97 Delta." While chaos erupted around her, Elena slipped away with a core team of human and alien engineers. They rushed through hidden passages beneath the council building to a secured transport bay. "What is Protocol Exodus?" demanded Krill, who had joined her group. "Our contingency plan," Elena explained as their shuttle rocketed toward orbit. "We always knew cooperation might falter when resources became truly scarce." The shuttle accelerated beyond Earth's orbit, its destination not logged in any public system. "Where are we going?" asked Kolvac. "To our final project," Elena replied. "The one we never revealed, even after the Alliance formed." Days later, as Confederate forces battled human defenses near Pluto, Elena's team arrived at their destination, a facility hidden in the Kuiper Belt. Before them floated Eris, transformed not just into a ship, but into something far more ambitious. "This isn't just another planet ship," Elena explained to her astonished allies. "It's a dimensional gateway generator." The massive installation surrounding Eris dwarfed any engineering project previously revealed. While the galaxy had focused on the visible planet ships, humanity had poured its greatest resources into this final solution. The mathematics suggested it was possible. Elena continued, leading them to the control center embedded deep within Eris, a network of 17 simultaneous wormholes, stable enough to evacuate millions from each targeted system. As they entered the control room, radiation alarms began to sound. The gamma-ray burst had arrived decades ahead of even their worst-case projections. With Confederate forces still battling human fleets near Pluto, and unknown aliens approaching from the outer darkness, Elena made her desperate gamble. "Begin emergency activation sequence," she ordered. "We may not save everyone, but we'll save as many as we can." The control center inside Eris hummed with desperate activity as Elena coordinated the largest migration in galactic history. 17 wormhole gates blazed against the darkness of space, each leading to a different system in the path of the approaching radiation wave. 97% of registered sentient beings accounted for in the Proxima system, reported Krill, now serving as Elena's assistant. The slender alien had proven himself invaluable during the crisis, his former arrogance replaced by determined efficiency. "Redirect additional support vessels to the Arcturus Gate," Elena ordered. "They're showing signs of structural instability from the radiation front." On the massive display dominating the chamber, countless evacuation ships streamed through the network of wormholes. What had begun as a desperate gamble had transformed into humanity's greatest achievement, a lifeline for trillions. "Director, the radiation levels are increasing exponentially," warned Dr. Patel, his voice strained. "The wormholes are destabilizing faster than predicted." Elena studied the readings with growing concern. The gamma-ray burst had arrived with devastating intensity, already sterilizing the outer systems. The wormhole network, designed to operate for weeks, was failing after only days. "Status report on remaining evacuees," she demanded. "Mostly military vessels that opposed the evacuation," Kolvac reported, mandibles clicking with irony, "including 7 Krell Dominion battleships that attempted to seize the Pluto vessel." The final ships raced for the collapsing gateways, now recognizing the planetary extinction event was real and imminent. Elena watched as former adversaries fought desperately to reach safety. "The primary power couplings are failing," Dr. Patil announced. We're losing containment on gates 7 through 12. Alina made her final command decision. Divert power from life support to gate stability. That will deplete our oxygen reserves within minutes, protested Krill. And give those final ships time to get through. Alina countered, already feeling the air thinning as environmental systems powered down. As the control team gasped for breath, they watched the last vessels slip through the collapsing wormholes. The monitoring systems registered the final tally. Over 18 trillion sentient beings evacuated to safety beyond the radiation zone. It was enough, Alina whispered as darkness claimed her vision. We saved enough. 200 years later, a fleet of vessels unlike any seen before approached the solar system. Their design represented neither purely human nor alien aesthetics, but something new. A true hybrid of multiple civilizations' technologies and artistry. On the command deck of the lead vessel, Admiral Reyes Kulvak, great-granddaughter of both Alina Reyes and the insectoid physicist who had become her most trusted ally, watched as long-range sensors analyzed their ancestral home. Radiation levels have declined to acceptable parameters, reported the science officer, a being whose DNA carried markers from 7 different species. Preliminary biosphere scan indicates potential for receding. The fleet deployed around Earth first, the symbolic homeworld of the species that had made survival possible. Survey teams discovered that while the surface had been sterilized, the fundamental geology remained intact. Over the following decades, the descendant species systematically restored life to their ancestral worlds. Earth's oceans were repopulated with genetically archived marine life. Forests grown from preserved seeds spread across continents. On 17 different homeworlds, similar resurrection projects unfolded simultaneously. On the 100th anniversary of their return, representatives from all species gathered at the site where Alina's control center had once stood within Eris. There, they established a monument unlike any other, a massive installation showing various appendages from different species joined together in a circle. The inscription, rendered in every known language, read simply, "They built planet-sized ships when we said it couldn't be done. They opened doors between stars when we said it was impossible. They saved us when we didn't believe we needed saving." In the new Galactic Assembly on rebuilt Earth, the 17 species of the old Confederacy now sat as equals with hundreds of others, their former hierarchies and prejudices dissolved by shared survival. The planet ships that had once seemed the height of human audacity now served as the foundation stones of a civilization spanning thousands of worlds. Most remarkably, whenever a new species was encountered among the stars, they were greeted with the same question that had become the cornerstone of the new galactic philosophy. What impossible thing might you teach us?